Hello, I hope this video finds you well. I have a couple of these already on my channel, but I was working with some students the other day and I thought this was a good chance to make a new one as I kind of use different techniques. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to get you set up to program in Python and go through some basics. So, first thing we need to do is in order to run Python, we need to download Python itself. Now this is a really good opportunity to kind of highlight something that's really important. I'm just going to open up a terminal here. And I'm going to type in Python, and you'll notice that you get what's called this command shell. And I can do a whole bunch of Python commands. Print hello. Okay, now if you'll notice here I typed in the word Python. This is actually Python 2. Most iOSs come installed with Python 2, and that's fine. You can also type in Python 3, and this is Python 3. So you see here Python 2.7.1.6, Python 3.7.0. Python 2 and Python 3 are different. This is a really important thing to know right off the bat. Python 2 is a legacy language. It means that it has been built, platforms are using it, but it is on its way out. Python 3 is a whole new language. They aren't the same thing. So little things like, for example, if I try and do print hello in the same way, it doesn't work. In Python 3, you have to use print and you have to do it as a function. So all of this to say, when I work with students often, I just work right with Python 3. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how to get set up and make your first Hello World video using Python 3. Now, one other thing before I do that. There are so many great resources for learning to program online. CodingBat is one of my favorite. I make nightly videos right now with CodingBat. That's great, and that's a great way to practice logic and develop your algorithm techniques, but it's really good to use those online resources, but also understand how to run them on your computer. So in other words, building software on your computer and running programs. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to download Python, whatever version it happens to be. And you can see it's downloading here. And once that's downloaded, I'm just going to double click that and it will install. Now, what is this? This is, think of it like a translator. I'm able to type code in for more or less English. And what I use Python for is it will convert that English into, again, this is an oversimplification, but let's call it machine code. Code your computer can understand. So this is like a dictionary that helps us translate what we type into something the computer can understand. The next thing that we need is we need what's called an IDE. But before we do that, we're going to check to make sure Python 3 is on your computer. So we're going to come over here, we're going to open up a terminal, and we're going to type in Python 3. And we're going to hit enter, and you should get this shell. And so we're just going to hit exit like that and get out. Okay. Once Python 3 is installed, we're going to install what's called an IDE. That stands for Integrated Development Environment. There are so many out there. There's tons of them. I'm going to start off with Sublime Text. Sublime Text is a nice, really simple, multi-purpose IDE. You can do web development in it, you can do Java in it, you can do Python in it. I do recommend, in some of my other videos, I use this product called PyCharm, which is a phenomenal piece of software. It's used in industry. Also, if you're a student, you can get a whole bunch of, get an educational license. It's a great piece of software. I'm not going to use it right now. I'm going to use Sublime Text. So the next thing you're going to install is you're going to install Sublime Text. So what you do is you do a Google search for it, click here, and you're going to download it for a Mac. I imagine there's a PC version. I've never tried to use it on a PC. But you're going to download it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to now open up Sublime Text. Okay, so now I have Sublime Text open. Yours might look a little different. I opened mine up, I installed this a while ago. I think I have a white background. It might default to Darko. I don't know. But what I want to do now is set up what I call a workflow when I'm working with students in class. So what does our workflow look like? What I always get students to do is they start off as they have this Sublime Text. We're going to make a new folder, and We're going to call that folder, there it is over here. We're going to call this folder, we're going to right click, we're going to come over here, we're going to rename this to Learning Python. Okay, and I'm going to open this folder up. So what I'm going to do now is, again, I haven't talked about this, but what is an integrated development environment? It is simply a piece of software that makes it easier to program. Think of it like this. You can write an essay on a napkin. You can write an essay on a piece of paper. You can use a piece of chalk and write it on the road. But you don't do that. You use something like Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and you use those pieces of software to help you write better essays. They have things like grammar check and spell check and all those different things. That's what an IDE is. This Sublime Text is designed to allow you to program easier. And what I'm going to do now is, this is where on my computer I'm going to save my files. This is where I'm going to edit my files. So the easiest way to get it set up is you take this folder and you just drag it into Sublime Text, and there it is. So what this is doing is this is mirroring this folder here and here. Okay. Now, if you're interested, I have another video all about getting set up on GitHub, and you're welcome to go and take a look at that. If you're a young programmer, I do encourage you to start familiarizing yourself with version control. It's super important. In university, a lot of stuff comes via GitHub, but I'm not going to do that here. All of the program we're doing is on your computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my first Python program inside this folder. And what I want you to do is I want you to watch right here. I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to make a new file, and there's my new file. And now I'm going to save as. There we go, file, save as. And I'm going to save as, and I'm going to type in hello world.py. Of course, my first program I ever done. Did you see what happened right here? There's my file. There it is there. Again, this is just a different way to look at this folder. So now I'm going to type something here. So I'm going to print hello world. And there's my first line of Python code. This little dot means that I haven't saved it. So I have to save this now. And now I have my first line of code. So now the question is, how do I actually execute this code? Well, the way I execute it is I come over here to this folder, and I right click, and I come over here and I select New Terminal at Folder. Doesn't matter if it's tab or if terminal. If you don't have this tab, it is not there by default. You can go in through if you click up here and you go to your system preferences, you can do that through your keyboard and services setting. Just do a quick Google search for, adding New Terminal at Folder. And I'm going to click New Terminal at Folder, and this is a third way to view that same folder. Again, if you want to be a programmer, familiarizing yourself with how to use a terminal is very important. When I start working with students, they often will say to me, oh, there's easier ways to do this. I can just get a piece of software, click, and it does that. And that's totally true. I very intentionally force them to start off by using this terminal. So you see I typed in this command ls, that means list all the files in the folder, and we see that file there, hello world. How do I execute it? I simply type in python 3 space hello world.py. I simply type the name of it, and when I've typed the name of it and I hit enter, it's now run my program, and now you've run your first Python program. Just to kind of, before we go, let's add another line, print. This is another line. Okay, well, no semicolon needed. This is in Java, so we're going to save that. Make sure you save it. A lot of times students forget that. And if you press just simply up, it will show your last command and press enter. Hello world. This is another line. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And please stick with it. Programming is really great. It can be a little challenging at the start, but once you get going, you'll be able to do all sorts of great stuff. Have a good night.